The story of Tamar, Amnon, and Absalom is the most tragic story of lust and revenge. And there's no better way of telling this story than to read it straight from the scripture. So every now and then I'll skip some parts, but it's all from 2 Samuel 13. Amnon, son of David, fell in love with Tamar, the beautiful sister of Absalom. Amnon became so obsessed with his sister Tamar, she was a virgin, and it seems impossible for him to do anything to her. But he had a friend, Jonadab, son of Shimi, David's brother. So basically it was Amnon's uncle. Why do you, the king's son, look so haggard morning after morning? Amnon said to him, I'm in love with Tamar, my brother Absalom's sister. Go to bed and pretend to be ill, Jonadab said. When your father comes to see you, say to him, I would like my sister Tamar to come and give me something to eat. Let her prepare the food in my sight, so I may watch her and then eat from her hands. And David instructs Tamar to do exactly that. He tells her, go to Amnon's house and prepare food for him and feed him. And she does. She bakes and she kneads and she cooks and she does everything. But Amnon doesn't want to eat. Sends everyone out of here, Amnon said. So everyone left him. So he tells her, okay, bring the food. Bring me the food. Come and feed me yourself, so I will eat from your hands. Then he grabbed her and said, come to bed with me, my sister. No, my brother, she said to him, don't force me. Such a thing should not be done in Israel. Don't do this wicked thing. What about me? Where could I get rid of my disgrace? And what about you? You would be like one of the wicked fools in Israel. Please speak to the king. He will not keep me from being married to you. So Tamar knows that if this will happen, even though it's his will and not hers, the outcomes will be devastating for her. He, as a man, maybe can find his way around it, but for her, it will be very, very hard to find a man after being disgraced like this. She even go as far as, hey, we can get married, we can get the blessing of dad and get married and do this whole thing the right way. He raped her. Then Amnon hated her with intense hatred. In fact, he hated her more than he had loved her. Amnon said to her, get up and get out. No, she said to him, sending me away would be a greater wrong than what you have already done to me. So you see, Amnon said he's in love with Tamar, but it's obvious when we read these verses that it wasn't love at all. It was 100% lust and a physical passion. That's the only explanation. Why? If it was a different situation, how come he hates her right away? He came to his satisfaction and that's it. He didn't want to see her anymore. And she understands that sending her away after something like that is even worse. Walk of shame, or however you want to call it. Maybe she was hoping that they will stay together and it will be better than just being disgraced. Tamar put ashes on her head and tore the ornate robe she was wearing. She put her hands on her head and went away, weeping aloud as she went. Her brother Absalom said to her, has that Amnon, your brother, been with you? Be quiet for now, my sister. He is your brother. Don't take this thing to heart. And Tamar lived in her brother Absalom's house, a desolate woman. When King David heard all this, he was furious. And Absalom never said a word to Amnon, either good or bad. He hated Amnon. So David didn't do nothing, which came as a serious surprise. David, the king, didn't do nothing after one of his sons raped one of his daughters. He raped his half-sister. 2 years later, when Absalom's sheep shearers were at Baal Chatzor, near the border of Ephraim, Absalom went to the king and said, your servant has had shearers come. Will the king and his attendants please join me? So we understand that David didn't act, didn't do nothing. And the question we need to ask ourselves, first of all, I think it comes to a surprise to everybody, to the people around him, to Absalom. I'm sure it came as a surprise for Tamar, and I think it comes as a surprise for us as readers. And the question is, was he supposed to do something? So to answer that question, let's go to two references. In Exodus, remember that in one of the episodes I talked about how big parts of Exodus, but mostly Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy is a lot of rules, regulations, commandments, how to live under the law of God, basically. So it's instructions. And David was familiar with the scriptures that were around until his time. He was aware of the Torah, the instruction, the commandments of God. So we'll go back to Exodus 22, 16 to 17, and it says, "And if a man entices a virgin who is not betrothed and lies with her, he shall surely pay the bride price for her to be his wife. If her father utterly refuses to give her to him, he shall pay money according to the bride price of virgins." That's in Exodus 22. But there's another reference. In Deuteronomy 22, verses 28 and 29, "If a man finds a young woman who is a virgin, who is not betrothed, and he sees her and lies with her, and they are found out, and the man who lay with her shall give to the young woman's father 50 shekels of silver, and she shall be his wife, because he has humbled her. He shall not be permitted to divorce her all his days." So the instructions, the Torah is very, very clear about this. David shouldn't have let it slide. Now that we established that David was completely wrong with not acting upon this horrible crime, let's go back to our story. Remember that I told you that Absalom went to David asking that he will send Amnon in his place to be in his sheep shearer's celebration instead of him. It does make sense. I mean, Amnon was David's eldest son, probably the number one candidate to become king after David, to succeed his crown, his rule, his regime. And David agrees to it. So he sends Amnon to celebrate with Absalom his shearer celebration. That was a big deal. And Absalom gives instructions to his servants to slay Amnon soon as he gets drunk. And they do. They're afraid, but he tells them, "It's I am the one that gives you the instructions, so don't be afraid." And they follow up his instructions, and they slay Amnon. And the news comes to David, and he fills up with sorrow, sadness, and he mourns greatly about the loss of his son. Now I want to conclude our episode with two things: friends and passion. So let's start with friends. Amnon was so frustrated. He was in love with his half-sister Tamar, but in his mind he couldn't do anything about it. She's a virgin, she's half a sister of mine, there's nothing I can do about it. Only to be frustrated from it. And then his so-called friend Jonadab came to him and advised him to act on his thoughts and commit a crime. This teaches us that we need to watch from who we take as friends in our life. I mean, our intuition tells us in many cases, whether it's because a certain word that the person said or something in his body language, our intuition usually tells us who do we want to stay away from and who we want closer to us. As long as you keep the people that have the Spirit of God with them and gives you the advices for life from a place of love, compassion, and the right values, you know you have the right people around you. But we still have to be aware from the wrong people that gives us the wrong advice. The second thing we just said we're gonna talk about is passion. Passion will express itself in healthy or unhealthy ways. Self-centered passion can be destructive and disrupt the judgment. Uncontrollable passion can lead to a destructive events within your life and the people that are close to you. Amnon was a great example of someone that couldn't control his passion. Now, is this to say that we should condemn passion? Certainly not. Passion is the first step for success. Passion boosts your willpower. Passion transforms you. Passion makes the impossible possible. And passion must flow from the heart. I want to wish to all of us to to have the ability to choose the right people as our friends and to know who to stay away from, and to be able to use passion from the right places in positive manners. I wish love and happiness to all of us. Thank you for watching.